Hi, my name is Zach. I'm studying a Bachelor of Commerce majoring in marketing. Business ethics encapsulates both corporate social responsibility and marketing ethics. Corporate social responsibility is a topic that is wider than just the individual and describes what a corporation should or should not do with regards to all stakeholders. Marketing ethics is more focused on the individual and the choices that they can make within a marketing role. Both shape each other. An individual, through their choices, can help to define the culture of the greater organization. But in the same way, the organization's values can shape the choices of the individual. Issues of marketing ethics can include marketing that exaggerates the truth, marketing that targets vulnerable groups, or marketing that conceals important information, and more. An example of marketing ethics can be seen in pricing strategies. An example of an unethical pricing debate can be seen in Sydney just this week. On Friday 10th of March, there were major train delays across all of Sydney as the city's transport network grind to a halt, with power lines across the tracks causing a full shutdown of the train network. As passengers rushed from train stations and overflowed onto buses and ferries, queues of people looked for alternatives to make their way to their destinations. The popular travel app Uber saw an increase in usage, and quickly, surge prices kicked in. In a time of crisis like this, where customers need the service desperately, it's easy to see the pricing method as unethical and opportunistic, taking advantage of customers. Channel 9 reported that a ride share from Central Station to the airport was quoted at $90, while a trip from North Sydney to the Sutherland Shire was seen as high as $280. A trip from the city to Mount Annan would normally set a customer back $40, but at the height of the chaos, it peaked at $500. Now, purely looking at economic principles, based on supply and demand, it's entirely logical that prices would increase under these circumstances. But to the customer, in a time of crisis or a time of need, it's seen as a low blow. Over the long term, consumers will remember what happened. This in turn generates skepticism in consumers. Do issues concerning marketing ethics match up to the overall corporate social responsibility and the brand positioning of the organization?
The worst company of the year award goes to Uber. When the country's largest city is down and out with a massive train outage, what does Uber do? It gouges hardworking Aussies, and not just a little bit. Trips that would normally take $38 surging to more than $500 yesterday. Are they kidding themselves?
When instances of unethical marketing are discovered by consumers, it can have lasting ramifications for a brand's identity. It is important that press surrounding an organization does not contradict its proposed brand identity or promote skepticism in consumers. There are a few ethical approaches that a brand can choose to adopt. It's impossible for anyone to say which is right and which are wrong, as all present advantages and disadvantages and can often come into conflict with one another based on their principles. The three main traditional Western ethical theories are consequentialism, deontology, and virtue ethics. Consequentialism determines if an act is moral by focusing on the consequences. For example, the trolley thought experiment, the greatest good at the lowest cost. With deontology, regardless of the outcome, some acts are forbidden, even in the context where there could be a positive outcome. For example, lying is wrong regardless of if doing it might save a life. Virtue ethics focuses on the character of a person. A virtuous person will act morally. It can be difficult to determine what one defines as virtues and vices, however, as these are subjective, and some bad actions require virtuous traits. Beyond this, it is important to consider that consumers do not always act ethically. For instance, studies have found a negative relationship between materialism and a consumer's ethical behavior. It is important to note, however, that a materialistic consumer can be motivated to act ethically by employing self-benefit appeal in promotional campaigns. In this way, we can see it is possible for marketers to implement communication strategies that can have positive outcomes on consumer ethics. In my career, I believe it is essential to ensure that my personal choices match up to the ethics of the organization I am a part of. The sum of the outcomes of ethical decisions made by the individuals that comprise an organization are what define the organization's contribution to its corporate social responsibility. Ensuring that there is consistency between the ethics of corporate decision making and the ethics of the individual is crucial to maintaining the ethical integrity of the organization and ultimately helping the organization to benefit society in a sustainable way.